vinyl community. This is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. So today is May 1st, and I wanted to recap my April purchases. Not a tremendous amount, but a pretty good stack of records I bought in April. So I'm going to start really quickly with these first three. These are Command records, and one of the other members of the VC had mentioned in one of their videos that the Command record label was, at the time in the 60s, a choice of audiophiles. The recordings were a very high quality recording, and I have to agree. I find that the quality of recording is really solid, and these are, well, first one is film hits, which is West Side Story, Never on a Sunday, The Dolce Vita, Light in the Piazza, Tender is the Night, King of Kings, etc., Breakfast at Tiffany's, Bernstein, West Side Story again, Wonderful Town. Bought this one, was actually sealed. Paid $2 for it. That was the most expensive of the Command records. And then Reeds and Percussions, and again, it's one of those, you put it on when you just want to relax, and it's just a really well done. So moving on, Vaughn and Violins, really nice, great record. She's got such an amazing voice. Sarah Vaughan has got a very, very solid voice, and so bought that one. This one was a cool little buy, only because I love airplanes and things like that. And this was the Romantic City series from Pan Am. The logo is there and in the back. So I don't know if this was, you got it if you flew Pan Am or complimentary, but it was just such a really cool thing. And of course, it's again just easy listening, just soothing music. But the album cover was so cool, I couldn't leave it there. This is from Bill over at Vinylverse, who just sent me this VCLT. It's just a really, it was a very interesting record. He had showed it on one of his channels. He had shown it in one of his videos, and I commented about how interesting and cool it was, and he sent it to me. So thank you again, Bill, and great record. An album I did not have, been looking for, and for whatever reason can't seem to find this in decent shape. And even this one, the cover is pretty beat up. But the soundtrack from The Graduate. This was cool. Bookends from Simon and Garfunkel. It's just a great record, and the poster was included in this, so I couldn't pass it up. I don't know why I never owned this on record. I had it on CD, had it on digital copies, but never went out and got Metallica's Black. So I picked this up at Best Buy not too long ago. Really clean, 180 gram vinyl, sounds good. Just can't beat that. I'm gonna hold off on this one for a second. One of my local thrift stores, I hit them just right. They very rarely, if ever, have records, and when they do, they're just usually, what is very common thrift store fare. But this particular case, I had gone to look at a collection, and just nothing there really. A lot of Mario Lanza, a lot of Mantovani, your standard, 78s from not even Benny Goodman. It was, Bing Crosby, that sort of stuff. Just really crooner stuff that I'm just really not into. So on the way back, I stopped at this thrift store saying, what the hell, let me take a look. And so I find a bunch of great records. We'll start with this one. Tony Banks, The Fugitive. Really good record. I didn't have anything from Tony Banks until then. So I got that, and then there was A Curious Feeling. This is on the Charisma label. And these were all $1. King Crimson, Starless, and the Bible Black. Didn't own it. Nice clean copy. I'm really psyched. Another King Crimson. Really, again, and very good copies, very clean copies. The covers are clean. You have the saw cut there from the discount rack, but let me see if I can get this done. There you go. Just really nice and clean copy. It just was, and this was an upgrade copy for me, for mine. And then these were blind buys, but I mean, for $1, they can't really be blind buys. And what they were was, as I'm sure most of you, when you see a record and you're like, okay, I can tell it's 60s, it's probably progressive, but I've not heard of the band, and I'm looking at the record and I'm like, I really should take a flyer on this, and so I did, and this is actually a pretty solid. Now the cover's a little bit banged up, but I had never heard of Banshee and thinking. So I played it, and it sounded really very nice, actually, and it's nice and clean, pretty clean copy, and not ridiculously expensive, but worthy of a couple of bucks on Discogs. And then I also found this one, Blue Mountain Eagle. Again, really wasn't familiar with anything of theirs. They didn't have anything in their catalog. I'd never heard of them. But you look at the cover and you kind of, if you own enough records, even if you don't own enough records, if you like music enough and you kind of like look back, and there's certain records that jump out at you, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I should just really grab this one and give it a listen. And I'm glad I did. Again, both progressive rock, late 60s, 69, 70, in that area. Both very, very interesting musical compositions. Both very, very, actually good too. I mean, not just interesting. Interesting makes it sound like, meh. But no, they're actually very, very good. And if you like progressive rock from that era, I mean, some of it is a little bit too, way up here, but by and large, I really enjoyed that. So then I picked this up because Psycho's Platters is doing his 500 subs contest, and oh my god, I can't recall who it was. They were showing favorite bootleg, and I know I'm sorry, I forgot. I know you're from Chicago, and I'm just drawing a blank on the channel's name. I'll remember it, and just because I feel foolish, I'm going to put it in the links. But he had shown this album, which was a nice little Clash, Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg, which is actually combat rock, and it's on orange vinyl, and it was produced by Mick Jones, and it's on marble vinyl, and it has it's combat rock with a little bit more a less polished sound than what you're used to, and then there's Know Your Rights and a few other stuff from other artists who sang it as well. And it's just if you're a Clash fan, I'm very pleased to have it. So I got that. Picked up Gloria Lynn. Again, this is the 50 cent bin at the Salvation Army. Really didn't have anything of hers, but just a great soul jazz sound along the lines of what you'd find, Ella, Aretha, that sort of thing, Sarah Vaughan. Just a really throaty, full, rich sound. Also, the Clash at Live at Shea. This came in the other day. Was missing from my collection, so I wound up grabbing it pretty inexpensively off eBay on that one. This weekend's purchases for my local record store. It was on my want list. I'm a big Ventures fan, and I did not have this, and I was kind of pumped when I got it, and because it was $8, so it wasn't a tremendous. For Ventures, I know it's a lot on the high end for Ventures stuff, but I grabbed it and I didn't look at it closely enough, and I hate when I do that because then I feel foolish. If you notice, it's a Frankenstein. This is the, it's on the Dalton label here, but the record is off the Liberty label. So it's like, that sounds good, but I'm gonna email them. My local record store here is, he only opens on Sundays. It's really not a business venture to make money. It's just kind of like, he loves records, and so I'll just shoot him a quick note on Facebook, and I'll return it and get store credit if he doesn't have another one. Picked this up as well yesterday. I haven't opened it yet. I was again missing from the collection. It just it's a recent release, but it was picked up. And then this one was actually kind of cool, and I like it. I'm not a huge fan of the Runaways. I just, it's, but this is a picture disc with the Runaways on it, and it was $12. And so, I mean, you can't find Runaway stuff to begin with, and and a picture disc for $12, I'm just gonna grab it. And they're a Long Island band, so I mean, on top of everything else, they're from the island, and I absolutely adore Joan Jett. I think she's just one hell of a rocker, and she's wearing a Pistols t-shirt in the back promo, so come on, seriously. Okay, so that's it. Those were my purchases for April. As May rolls around, the yard sales are starting up again, and usually it's a little bit better buying time for us out here, because the summer folks come out from the city, get their rentals open, and they just have a ton of yard sales. A lot of times they'll bring a bunch of records out. So last year I was able to buy a really nice jazz collection, although the covers were wrecked, but the records were just spot perfect. Hopefully enjoyed this video. If you like any of the records or have some insight on any of the prog rocks or any of the stuff like that I picked up, leave me a comment. By all means, please feel free to subscribe if you like the channel. By the way, I got Angst in My Pants on that. It just was in my top 20 of my top 100 records. Okay, guys, have a great rest of the evening. Again, trying to keep these short, so I got this under 15 minutes, back to my normal. Cheers all. Have a great week. Speak to you soon.